Today we're going to be taking a look at none other than the super limited edition Nemesis Prime, based off the Optimus Prime mold from Transformers Bumblebee. Basically, what 3-0 have done is they've taken that regular badass look for Optimus from the Bumblebee solo movie, painted it all black, added some teal, added a little bit more evilness, and given us the Nemesis Prime. He is super limited. I do believe he's unfortunately completely sold out now, but they will be, fingers crossed, continuing this line for some time. And here we have the box art for Nemesis Prime himself. Now, as you can see, Nemesis Prime right up there on the front, and this is the deluxe scale version. But I do have to say, in terms of 3-0 box art, this has to be some of the most boring that I've ever seen. There's just a sort of half bust of Prime there, and Nemesis Prime in a sort of brushed metal look. It kind of looks like a font choice from Microsoft Word, but nevertheless, we're here to look at the figure himself, not necessarily to critique the box artwork. But you can see Decepticon logo on the side, and of course another Decepticon logo on the back. Now let's get this guy out here. I have been super excited to see him ever since I saw him way back, first released at 2019 ACGHK, I do believe. It looked fantastic. Ever since then, we have gotten the regular version of Optimus Prime, and I loved it. If you haven't already, go ahead and check out my review on him. But here we have the Nemesis Prime figure himself in all of his glory, and I have to say, he looks fantastic. I can already feel the heft on this guy right here. There is a significant amount of die-cast dotted throughout this entire thing, and there are so many moving parts, but we'll cover that a little bit later in the video. Now you can see there are a few little bits and pieces dotted around the box here, so what we're going to do now is get all of the accessories laid out in the light box and take a closer look at everything he comes with. And here we have all of the accessories that come with Nemesis Prime. Now, as you can see, they are exactly the same as what we got with Optimus, which for me is perfectly fine. Now, taking a look at the display base itself, as you can see there, it says 3-0, and of course, Transformers Bumblebee. I do actually think this is a missed opportunity for them doing this in that nice sort of teal color that's now synonymous with Nemesis Prime. It would have been really cool, a nice pop of color, or even red or purple, in fact, anything a little bit more evil. The black, unfortunately, you just can't really see it all that well. It doesn't stand out on the display base. The base itself is actually rather large, and it is a little bit complicated in its construction. It's a multi-piece thing. It can move forward and back, and of course lock in as well, and then the top piece can move as well. There's a bunch of moving parts. I honestly think it's a little bit more complicated than it needs to be, and maybe a little bit too large as well, but nevertheless, at the very least, it's uniform throughout the entire line. Now, taking a look at his only real weapon accessory, it's of course his Ion Blaster. It's nicely painted, it's nicely sculpted, and of course very reminiscent of what we've seen in G1. The other cool thing is the magazine can remove, and there is a bullet on there. I didn't actually think Transformers weapons shot bullets. It's more of a laser style weapon, but nevertheless it's there, and it's a really cool touch. So too is the dry brushing and sort of oil effect pooled in the crevices. This thing looks like a proper metal blaster, and I love it. Now, speaking of stuff that looks like metal, take a look at the detail on these hands. It looks insane. They are sculpted really nicely, they're painted really nicely, and I love the silver finish throughout the entire thing there. They look like scuffed up metal, and it looks fantastic. The only real kind of complaint that I do have about any of these deluxe line figures is the fact that we only get sculpted hands. I do think with the way the sort of fingers are done, we could have gotten articulated fingers. We get them on 1/6 scale Iron Man figures. These hands are kind of the exact same size. I don't know why they couldn't make that happen. It would have been a nice touch in addition to all of these different gestures, but nevertheless, these are still perfectly serviceable. What we're going to do now, though, is get Nemesis Prime himself out here and take a closer look. And here we have 3-0's Nemesis Prime himself standing straight up and down the light box, no crazy poses or accessories or anything like that. And I have to say, this guy, as simple as this pose is, he still looks like a total badass. Whatever it was, whatever magic recipe that 3-0 had been put into this guy right here, it paid off. It looks fantastic. I don't know if it's the glossy black, the excessive amount of detail in the paintwork and the sculpt, but it just meshes together to make one freaking awesome looking piece. He looked good in the classic red and blue Optimus Prime colors, but in this more evil variant, I actually might be swayed into thinking this one might be my favorite of the line so far.